Hello everyone, today I'll be doing a solo Grandmaster Warden of Nothing with Hunter. For my subclass, I'll be using Spectral Blades with Hunter. Here are the mods and fragments I'll be using this video. For my kinetic, I'll be using the Tina sidearm. Next I'll be using a Void Glaive. Next I'll be using exotic machine gun. And then for my exotic, I'll be using the exotic chestplate for the Spectral Blades. And also to get my super energy back. It's all fun and games, Warden of Nothing. Because Lake of Shadows used to be the most fun GM to farm. Now Warden of Nothing is the most fun to farm loot. So I'm gonna go for Hunter, Void. Whoa! I am using a glaive, I'm using a stasis sidearm, I am using a linear. Well, actually, I'm using an exotic machine gun just to try it out with this loadout. Now, to stagger the Overlord Champions, I usually use the sidearm or I throw the grenade. That's why I'm using blind grenades, so I can blind the enemies, but I can basically stagger the Overlord Champion. Now, just be aware that I am not used to recording with a controller. I had a hard time recording. I had to redo it 2 times because I kept messing up. The tripod kept falling down. It was just really awkward and it was blocking my gameplay screen. So this is really something new. I'm not used to it. It's just a fun experience or a fun experiment to try out. So I'm using the exotic chestplate for the Hunter. It's really good for Spectral Blades. You get your super back when you use your charge time. Well, when you use your charge attack. And yeah, there's kind of a weird bug over here where you have to stay with the ghost long enough for this to be active. It's just really weird because the old version, or not the old version, but the last time I revisit, you can just pop the ghost and then quickly go and just race to the objective to avoid the train. So for this exotic, when you are turning invisible and when you're out of invisible, you can blind the enemies surrounding you or suppress them, in other words. You'll see what I mean later on when I'm spamming my invisibility. So for this footage, I will take my time. I'm not gonna go for a speed run. But basically, there is unstoppable champions up ahead. You can use your glaive. I was just testing out with this build. It's alright. It's fun. I could have done better, but probably next time. I haven't hang around too much with the Void Hunter lately. I was trying to do some mini test runs, and the problem is the Hunter needs more DPS, more probably a invis spam build pretty much for the Void Hunter. But with this machine gun, it's not so bad. I really like it. I was trying this on Scarlet Keep, well, inside Terminus. It was okay. I think it'll be better for this GM more than the inside Terminus, but I could try out next time. Probably have to switch up the fragments and switch up the weapons a little bit to make it work. But basically during this section, there is a bigger champion. You can take him down with a machine gun. I mean, like I said, it's not so bad. Maybe I should have switched with the fragment flash over to take down the champions way more quickly. I was just trying to put as much void build as I can, void mods as much as I can to make the machine gun work, but maybe I should have put a flashover fragment artifact mod. You can also use the hoverboard to skip the trains, or you can use the sparrow to just make your way to the near end objective. That's another thing I could have done for this footage, but honestly, it was just really awkward recording two things at the same time. And that's me, by the way, everyone's different. I'm not used to recording from my phone and then recording my gameplay. It's just really awkward for me, especially when there's a tripod in front of me and I'm trying to get my solo GM done. It is very, very awkward. So once we take down the Unstoppable Champion, we're gonna take down more of the machine, more of the Cabal. And I'm going to take down some of the enemies. Then there's going to be a bigger champion shooting arc blasts. I think I'm going to go behind him a bit this time. Usually I do DPS in front, but for this video I'm just going to go behind him a bit. By the way, another thing I like to mention is that the stomp for the bigger champion, for some reason it one-shots you. I'm not sure why, especially when going for a glaive mini build. It can one-shot you. I don't know why, it never happened before. It's just really weird, but that's the experience I was having issues when I was using the glaive for this. And that's another thing what I do want to talk about. The artifact mods is kind of weird in my opinion, and the reason why I say that is because, well, I was trying to use rockets and it's just not strong enough. Yeah, that's right, I said it. No one's gonna say it. There should have been an artifact mod where it can artifact mod for rockets for non-exotics where you can debuff enemies, or if they don't have that, then they should have had the rockets where you can get ammo. It should also work for exotic rockets, because I try using rockets on battlegrounds, I try using it on GMs that are a little bit more difficult than this version, and the rockets were just, they weren't doing enough DPS. That's the problem with using rockets and why people would prefer using fusions, linear fusion rifles over rockets. I think that's the flaw for this season. Another flaw is they should have had suppressing melee glaive for this season. They had this during the Witch Queen season where the glaive can, when you melee, you blind suppress them. It was really, really fun. Well, that was kind of creepy. I don't know about you guys, but did you see that goblin walking really fast? Like, that was just so creepy. I honestly have no explanation of how that happened. But anyway, there is two bigger champions. You could take down one of the bigger champions from the right side, and there's one from the left side. Now, the old version, it was a bit more difficult to take down bigger champions, but you can easily take them down on this version. So make sure you take down the bigger champions. They're just going to be a fantastic, fun GM. So like I said, the problem with the glaives is they should have had suppressing melee artifact mod. They had it in Witch Queen, and maybe they should have had that for this season, because we haven't had glaive mods for a really long time. Then they have it, but there's just not enough. Now there is no bell. Like, yes, that is good, but the suppressing melee, it was so OP. It was so powerful, and it was really fun to make cool builds, especially for Prismatic and especially for the Void Hunter. Because for this season, it's just not good enough. But it can work. Like I said, it's good, but I just wish there was just a certain mod to make it work. for glaives. But anyway, we are going to take down the Minotaur boss. I was just waiting for the boss to teleport. There he is. There's that Minotaur. He's just hanging around. Yeah, my machine gun is taking around, I would say 3 to 2k damage. I mean, it's not that bad. But this is why most players would prefer to use a sword or a linear fusion rifle or a fusion rifle to take down bosses like this to do a lot of damage. They should have done more debuff dealing with rockets. I do like the resilience for the machine guns. I mean, it's not that bad. Pretty cool, but the rockets is the issue for this season. I just don't like it. I try to make some cool builds with rockets, but it's just really difficult to do without an exotic rocket. Okay, we're gonna take down this Minotaur and then go to the next section right away. And yes, I haven't really used my super so much. I will very soon. Like I said, it was just really awkward for me to record 2 things at the same time. I had my tripod that fell down. There were times where I forgot to record the controller and had to do it all over again. It happened to me, which was frustrating. So make sure you spam your super, especially using a Roman super for spectral blades. You can get your super quite a lot. So right now we're gonna proceed and go to the next area. I was just double checking. It should open very soon. Please, for the love of the Bungie, open. We're gonna take down these scions, and then during this objective, what you can do over here is you can take down, you know, certain ads and then take down unstoppable champions. There's actually 2 unstoppable champions, and then when you take them down, you can just turn invisible and then just skip all these ads. Basically, that's what you can do for this, just to make life easier. And by the way, I thought there was an enemy back there because there was a mark. It was just really weird. Maybe it glitched out from a wall. I'm not sure. It was just really random. Never had that before. But yeah, the unstoppable champion right ahead. There are 2 of them. I'm gonna wait until they push so I can do DPS and then just get this room done over it. So we're gonna wait, and then we're just gonna melee. We're gonna use artifact mod, the Nobel or No-Kel. Then there should be another unstoppable champion. It's just hiding somewhere. Where is he? He should be around here. He's just so shy. He's shy. Doesn't want to go one-on-one with me. Oh well, maybe because I'm female. I'm not sure. Yeah, he's definitely shy. He's just all the way back there. There he is. But yeah, well, another thing you can do is use your super. That's one thing I could have done to make this run faster. I could have staggered the unstoppable champion with a glaive and then pop my super and then just take them down and then just turn invisible and pass all these ads. So that's another thing I could have done for this run. Alright, so we're gonna clear it out a little bit so I can just get into this. And we're gonna go to the next area, the Bungie Champions. Yes, I like to call them Bungie Champions because there's like 5 of them. And there is snipers, take them down if you can. There's 2 barrier Vex champions. There is 1 Cabal champion barrier, and then there's a Vex Overload champion, and there's a Cabal Unstoppable champion. Yeah, it just gets better and better for this run. Fantastic, right? But joke aside, all these champions are fighting each other because of the different race. So usually everyone's different. For me, I personally like taking down the barrier champion first and then the other 2 Vex barrier champions. And just a warning, they like to cuddle. They like to be together forever and ever. So make sure you take them down quickly. But yeah, if I had that flash mod to make the bulk charge stronger, I would have taken them down way more quicker. But yeah, the Overlord Champion surprised me. That's why I used my super. I didn't mean to use my super. You know, just sometimes the Overlord Champion can sneak up on you, and it was just something that it never really happened to me. This is actually the first time of all the Warden Nothings where the Overlord Champion pushes and surprises me. Never had that issue ever, all these years, but for some reason for this run, it just happened. Overlord Champion was not cooperating with me. But yeah, make sure you take down the Barrier Champion. And then once we take down the Barrier Champion, we're going to leave the Overlord Champion alone for now so we can just take down all the mines. We're just going to walk past them so we don't have to deal with them during capturing the plates or capturing the bombs or defusing the bombs. So anyway, I'm going to do a mini time skip here. I'm just going to run around the map and just get rid of these mines. I'll be right back. Once we take down all the mines, we just walk past them. Then we're going to take down the Unstoppable Champion. So another interesting thing about this bomb or defusing section is that you can actually skip one Overlord Champion and still get platinum. It's really weird. And this bug or this method has always been like this ever since Warden Nothing was out. So this is pretty much an old method, but it still works to this day. So usually you just take down the barrier and then you take down the Unstoppable, and then that's it. You ignore the Overlord Champion and you still get platinum. I know it's crazy. So first things first, we do have around 55 seconds or 50 seconds, so make sure you take down the Barrier Champions really fast. For this run, the Unstoppable Champion wasn't cooperating for this footage, and it was unfortunate because on my first attempt, the champion was cooperating. But the problem is that my phone didn't record all the footage from my controller, so it kind of messed up my whole run. I had to start all over again, which wasn't fun because, you know, I like to get things done and then I don't want to do it again. Especially when I'm trying to do a clean run and then, oh, gotta do it all over again. Which is why for this run I was just being very careful, because I was looking at my phone at the same time while doing this run. And yes, the Unstoppable Champion wasn't cooperating. So because the champion was not cooperating, I'm going to have to capture A. A for amazing. A for apple. They were going to get B for Bungie. But like I said, the Unstoppable Champion wasn't cooperating. It was just being weird. And just remember, there is an Overlord Champion you can skip. I don't want to touch it. I want to make sure I capture Bungie. Gotta capture Bungie. Defuse Bungie. Hopefully we can take down this Unstoppable Champion. Probably gonna turn invisible and then just use finisher and ignore him. Another thing you could do is use your super. Now, for some reason I didn't use my super for this one. I think I was just waiting for the mini boss. So you can see Overlord Champion all the way up there, but we're gonna ignore him. So we're gonna ignore the Overlord Champion and we're just gonna go and capture C. Capture C for cats, because people like cats, right? Does anyone like cats? Yeah, C for cats. So we're gonna capture C, and then once we do that, we're going to go for the mini boss. And I'm gonna use my super, so make sure you use your super. For some reason I didn't use my super so much for this run. I apologize. So I'm gonna wait patiently. There's a Hypernova Bane. Oh gosh, what else can go wrong? I mean, look at this guy, he's so powerful. His health keeps going up and up. So I'm gonna use Spectral Blades. But yeah, hopefully we can take him down. Yep, this super is really good. But seriously, it is good. It's not that bad. So you can see it did a lot of damage. I could have done more damage, but I decided to just pull back. Pull back. Another thing I could have done is use limit break to have my super more powerful when low on health. That's another thing I could have done, but like I said, I just want to get a decent run. And my controller, my phone wasn't recording the controller, which was really annoying for me. But it's alright. Let's all be positive. Let's make many positive jokes. Like how the boss keeps shooting at the wrong direction. Well, the Cabal. And then now we're gonna reload the machine gun. And then just make sure we go ahead. And then go to the next area. I was just picking it up for fun. So I'm gonna do many time skip. I'm gonna wait for the dialogue to be gone, so I won't deal with glitches. Alright, so once we wait for the dialogue, because I just get bad luck of getting glitches, we're gonna go and get the treasure. But sadly, there's really nothing. So we are gonna deal with more Bungie Champions. We're gonna deal with an Overload Champion, an Unstoppable Champion, 2 Barrier Champions. Great, Bungie Champions, I love it. It's just fantastic. But anyway, it isn't really so bad. I mean, can you imagine at the boss room with 4 Barrier Champions at the same time? I mean, wouldn't that be more stressful than this Warden nothing level? By the way, I'm not even joking or exaggerating. I'm serious. Scarlet Keep GM, not Scarlet Keep, Strange Terrain. They had 4 bigger champions at the boss fight. Like before the boss fight started, you had to take down 4 bigger champions, and they were all the same race, so it was all Vex. Now imagine that with trying to snipe you. Yeah, that would be terrifying, right? But anyway, usually for this, everyone's different. I'm going to try to take down one of the champions. I was trying to see if I could take down the Unstoppable Champion. But he was just too busy with the other bigger champion, so why not take down the Overload Minotaur Champion? So I'm going to take him down because since I don't really have a lot of Overload weapons besides the Stasis and the Suppressing Grenade, so I might as well take him down. It'll make life easier for me. Next, we're gonna take down the Unstoppable Champion. I mean, he's in the middle. Why not? I'm just gonna try to use a machine gun. Another thing you could do is you can also use your finisher to get more special ammo if you have the artifact mod. So that's another thing I could have done for this video. A little bit more. Now we're going to take down the Barrier Champion. Now for me, I like to take down this guy because he likes to spam the machine gun. And the machine gun that he uses is very dangerous. Even for this version, this machine gun is still a pain. So just be very careful with this champion. I wouldn't really mess with him too much. I mean, I would mess with the other champion, but not this one. This guy can be trouble. Next, we're going to take down another Barrier Champion up ahead. The Vex Barrier Champion. Now, for this method, I'm not going to do the cheese method I was debating. We'll just do the non-cheese. And we'll just make this work. Even though it's not the best loadout, but we'll make it work. Not really the meta for this run. So we're going to go and take down the Barrier Champion. Once we take down a Barrier Champion, we're gonna deal with the boss. If only I had Thunder Crash. Darn it, that nice Thunder Crash, that nice DPS buff. I could just take down this boss in 10 seconds. I'm so sad right now. Oh wait, that's right, I'm on Hunter, I can't do that. Well, I could go Golden Gun. Nah, let's go for Void for this video. So this boss likes to shoot this ability where he uses this solar. You can use the behind the walls and go behind the shadows. to not get hurt from the solar attack. That's why for this GM there is solo threat, because they want to make the boss's solar attack more stronger for this run. If anyone's wondering why there's solar threat, there's nothing. Well, it's the boss. That's the reason why. Now we're gonna have Vex and Cabal, and we're just gonna take our sweet time taking down the ads. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, yeah, you could focus DPSing the boss, but I didn't do that so much for this video. By the way, I was trying to do melee, but it wasn't working for me, so I had to use the charge attack. But yeah, I am using the super. It's not that bad. I mean, yeah, it is a bummer that I couldn't use my light melee attacks. For some reason, my hunter was just going the wrong way. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my controller. I'm not sure. Because I have never done spectral blades on this boss, especially a boss that's floating in the air. But it's okay. I mean, at least we can use a super to clear down the ads and do some DPS at the boss, not 100%. So I don't think it's so bad of using this super. I mean, it's quite fun. Using solar attack. I mean, yeah, the machine gun is not the most powerful ever. I mean, I could have used maybe Dragon's Breath. Maybe Leviathan's Breath could have been better. Honestly, maybe I should have used Leviathan's Breath. Honestly, that exotic is very underrated. And I could have done way more damage than this machine gun. But like I said, I'm just using the non-meta loadout. This is the non-meta. This is not the best loadout ever. But it works. So now I'm gonna go wait. And I'm gonna take down the goblins. By the way, I was doing a lot of testing with the glaive. So does the hypernova one-shot you if you have a glaive bubble? And the answer is no. If you pop the glaive bubble while the hypernova bane is using his kamikaze attack, it won't one-shot you. And I test this out 10 times. Okay, 8 to 9 times. And when using the glaive bubble, it can one-shot you. So that's the good thing about using the glaive bubble, the power. And I didn't know that. I had to do more testing. And I was wondering why my whole team died except me on HyperNet, the old version. But now we know. And it's interesting because now there are 2 ways to deal with the hypernova. Well, 3 ways. Well, one, from what I've heard, is you can use sword block to avoid the hypernova bane. 2 is a glaive. 3 is your roaming super. So there you go, everyone. Now we know how to deal with the hypernova bane in worse situations. So we're gonna take our sweet time doing DPS the boss. But like I said, you could skip these ads and then just focus on the boss. I mean, you don't really have to do this method, but for me, I just wanted to just show off the exotic, you know, see how the DPS is, see how powerful it is. Actually, Blitz, if you use Leviathan's Breath, you could have taken down this champion in 2 minutes. Well, yes, I could have, but I wanted to use a non-meta loadout. Because there are players that complain that I use meta loadouts. And it breaks my heart. It hurts my feelings. Who cares, Blitz? Just bigger YouTubers use it. Big YouTubers don't get complained, Blitz. Well, that's another problem. Small YouTubers get complained a lot more than big YouTubers, from what I've seen many years. But anyway, let's just ignore that Guardian troll. I mean, she's just trying to ruin the positive for this video. Actually, Blitz, the spread could have been better. Anyway, we're gonna take down the machine gun. We're gonna take down the final boss. We're gonna use our sidearm. I was running out of ammo for the machine gun. Could have used Leviathan's Breath, Blitz. Yeah, we're gonna ignore her. You know, she only pops out when it's necessary, you know, random, especially battlegrounds. She hates battlegrounds. So anyway, we took down the boss. We used a Nomada loadout and Void Hunter. Woo! Haven't used Void Hunter for a long time. So thank you so much for watching. And we got Platinum. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.